Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel Darksiders Comics. Today we do X-Men Classic, issue number 74 from Marvel Comics. I don't have the originals, I only have the Dutch versions, and getting these is way too much hassle and way too expensive for me. So since I'm collecting a lot of comics, other comics. So yeah, I got a couple of classics. I enjoy them because I grew up with these comics. And let's dive in. Oh, by the way, if you like X-Men related reviews, I would suggest to go to a channel called Cerebral Comics. I'll leave a link in the description so you can check it out. Cerebral Comics does a lot of more X-Men related reviews. It's more structured, it's more scripted, while mine is more loose from the hand, unscripted mostly. So if you like a lot of old school X-Men comics, gonna check that out. It's great. And on with the review. So we are here. Oh, by the way, it's been written by Chris Claremont and Paul Smith, and Bob Wiacek is the inker, and a lot of other people. But yeah, Chris Claremont, you cannot go wrong with that. So it seems that Madeline Pryor, who becomes the Goblin Queen, I guess. I forgot what she's become. I believe Goblin Queen. I'm pretty sure of it. And Scott Summers, is having a date here in Alaska, and they're having a great time. But at some point, Scott, with his very goofy, old school, almost stiff outfit, reveals to her that he has another girlfriend that died. So he shows her the photo, and well, it's Jean, and well, could be twins. So she's a little bit shocked by that, and she needs to think about that because, well, she is now unsure if Scott loves her or likes her, because that she looks like Jean or somebody else, and they need to have a pause. And then Scott feels guilty about that too. So she comes back, and basically they're gonna talk how they go further with the date, and stuff like that. Meanwhile, the rest of the X-Men, Storm, Angel, Colossus, and Nightcrawler are captured by the Morlocks because Callisto has captured Angel, not Archangel. That's later. And Callisto, she's the leader of the renegade mutants, Morlocks, and she is she wants to groom Warren Worthington III, the high-flying angel, and according to her, he's the most beautiful man in the world, and she wants to marry him, and she also wants to clip his wings, right? As you can see here, she's ready for that, and Storm, says, hey, stop, you need to stop this, and then she's getting put in a place, which triggers Colossus here, and they're gonna have a fight here. As you can see, Colossus punches Sunder here. Aurora, uses her, powers to, frighten the Morlocks with her electricity or with the lightning. Meanwhile, I also like this BAMF panel. Kurt is using his teleportation powers to, weaken or Callisto because of all the teleportation, and it puts a real big strain on him and even on her. So he says, Morlocks, behold your mistress. If you would have her live, release Angel and allow me and my friends to depart in peace. And then Sunder says, well, no, don't hurt her, please. So, and then Storm takes control, but then she's being touched by a Morlock. And is it his or her? Let's call it a her. It's Plague, and she can transmit disease or activates diseases in people. And now she has she gives Storm fever, and then she threatens Kurt here, hey, listen, if I touch her again, she will die slowly. So Kurt complies, and then they're getting captured again this time. And then Kurt asked, "Who are you? What is this place? With your abilities, could you be mutants like us?" And then Callisto explains, says, "Yeah, we are mutants, but nothing like you. We're runaways, outcasts, people with no home, no one to care for them, hated and hunted because of powers we didn't want or understand. Deformed, despised, deserted." Great stuff. "The alley here is a bomb shelter, built secretly during the Cold War, then abandoned. I found it, made it my home, and then made it a sanctuary for those like me. But how did you find them? With a mutant whose power senses the presence of other mutants." And then we're getting introduced to Caliban, who has a thing for Kitty Pryde, called Sprite here, I think. And she has a fever. Not sure what happened before because I forgot, and I don't have that comic except for the Dutch one that I'm too lazy to find. Anyway, and Kitty pleads that Caliban helps, her to free the X-Men. And if he doesn't want to do that, she says, "I'm gonna hate you forever." Is that what you want? And then, Caliban is a little bit in turmoil. And then Kitty passes out and he screams. Meanwhile, we have, Mystique here, who has a dream, that her throat's being cut by Jason Weingart. Also, we have the Phoenix here. So she thinks there's a connection. And then she goes to her friend, Renee. And they sense that Rogue has been, running away from home. And these two are very concerned. Meanwhile, we have another Morlock called Mask. He hates smooth, perfection, beautiful-looking people. And he's going to play with her face, like clay. And Kurt's pissed off. He says, "Stop it. She's not a toy. She's a human being who deserves to be treated with dignity and respect." And then Mask says, "That's so. And how much dignity and respect do you think I deserve, eh? I got great powers, I can reshape any face, anybody, except my own. And you wonder why I hate what's pretty?" Then, Callisto steps in and says, "Hey." She speaks to Kurt and he says, "You have courage. I like that. And your features brand you as much as an outcast as us. Why don't you join us?" And, Nightcrawler says, I won't desert my friends, Callisto. More importantly, I spent my whole life fighting to be accepted as I am, to be judged by my deeds instead of my looks. I won't leave that battle before it's done. Blessed saints," then he says. And then Caliban comes with unconscious Kitty. And then, this is happening. And Colossus vows if they are hurting her, he brings this whole tunnel down to everyone, killing them. And then, they say they need to, go back to the mansion to, with advanced medical facilities as quickly as possible to save her. But then Callisto says, "You're going nowhere, X-Man. Not if you want your pals to stay healthy. Here you are and here you stay. Till I say different. If the brat dies, she dies." And even Caliban says that she does not change her mind. She can only change her mind, if she is being removed as the leader of the Morlocks. And it can only be done by trial by combat. Well, if that's what it takes to save Kitty, so be it, Nightcrawler says. Great stuff. But then, so he challenged her for, a death match or a battle to the death. But then here, Storm comes in and she wants to do that. She wants to claim probably her life if she continues to threaten us. And but then Kurt says, "Hey, have you lost your wit, Storm? You're barely able to stand. Things to play, much less fight. This is no time for idiotic gestures. Kitty lives hangs in the balance. I'm aware of that, Nightcrawler, but I am in this as much as adamant as Callisto, unless, of course, she's afraid to face me." Callisto says, "That'll be the day." And so she accepts. And then, so Callisto also say, "Hey, if you're going to use your powers, your precious Kitty's throat will be cut." And then she throws us the knife. And then, look at the face, man. It looks really cool. And she's actually shocked that that this is happening. We all forget that, I mean, Aurora has been grown up in the streets, and I forget where. I forget where. In Rio? I forget. When she was a little kid, so she can handle knives, etc. And so Callisto says, "Did you see that, Tovarish? A bluff, mein Freund. Aurora has sworn never to take a human life, remember? Once Callisto realized that, storm is finished." All right. So they're having a fight. So they are circling around each other. They're feigning. And then, well, Callisto draws first blood. Aurora fights back, but then she makes a couple of mistakes. And she says, "I almost pity you, Silvertop. You're making this too easy. And you, Callisto, talk too much." And then Aurora uses her cape to do this, pulls her up, and stabs her through the heart. And it was over. And when I saw this for the very first time, I thought, oh man, they actually went there. And this is a very powerful scene, you know, slowly, you know, with this facial expression, and then total silence. Well, Aurora just walks away, you know, like she was nothing. Fantastic. And then she picks up Angel, and she's now declared herself as the leader of the Morlocks, and she offers them sanctuary in the, you know, in the X Mansion. But then Caliban comes, says, he says, "This is where we belong," etc. And Kurt says, and what she says is, "Callisto alive?" "Barely. Thanks to the healers, she'll be a long line." What's that word? Confess. I'm not familiar with this word. Convalescing. Right. Let's leave it at that. If not for him, she wouldn't have survived at all. And then he says, "You stabbed her through the heart, Aurora. Were you aware of that? I knew when I made the challenge what had to be done, Kurt. I never expect that of you. Neither did Callisto. That was her mistake." Yeah, it was the first time that I saw, well, Aurora, you know, willing to take a life for the X-Men. I mean, she would do that anyway, but, you know, actually seeing that and doing that, you know, stabbing one through the heart, that's powerful. Meanwhile, we see Madeline wants to take, in the heat of the moment, the glasses of Scott, and Scott panics, and she said, "Hey, what's going on? You never sleep without it," and etc. And what's going on? Tell me what's going on. So he reveals himself as a mutant, but strangely enough, she's pretty calm about that. I mean, which in my opinion is a little bit weird. I mean, when somebody shoots, I don't know, high beams in front of me, I would have, you know, freaked out a little bit. But she is, I don't know, she doesn't mind, and she says, "It must be awful for you to forever be on guard, terrified of the consequences, even the slightest accident or mistake." And she asks him to stay, you know, and we'll see what happens next, right? And I believe this is the original cover for this comic. So I like that they did have a different cover for this. Anyway, I just like it purely because of what happened here with the Morlocks. And, you know, Storm, you know, being pretty ruthless. Yeah, great stuff. Guys, let me know what you think about this, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.